My parents brought us up in the city, on Wayaki Way, next to Kianda School, where they still live today. But I tell you, we were brought up like we were in church. Mose, you will not believe it. You see me now, you see me looking gisty and everything, but friend.
Back in the day.
What? Mr. and Mrs. Mumo are very clear. You see this car here? It is my car. Me, I went to school. I worked hard. I bought a car. It carries you when I want it to carry you. If he sees you, he'll give you a lift. But then, he passes you, you get home, you're like, Dad, I was running with that car. Then he tells you, people who own cars, we don't look at people who are walking. Now who's doing homework with the kids? The house help. What is she playing on her phone because she has a phone and has connected to your Wi-Fi? Her own videos. What is the kid saying? See, they're besties. That's her bestie. In fact, the child will cry for the housey more than the child will cry for you.
Let me ask guys, who has ever faced the wrath of a parent?
Wow.
Hey, like the whole church needs to go for therapy.
Everybody's hands were up.
Not even one.
Wait. Papa putting two hands up. Like, hey, me.
Steve, he went to ask his mom. He was hungry. The mom was making chaps. So kenda kuuliza the mom for chapo.
Amaze nipea tu moja ya
I'm hungry. Aligongwa na madhake na sufuri.
Bas. Now that is the generation. You see what I'm saying? We must make the bed together. Are you want to marry me? We are making the bed. We're making, you make your side, me I make my side. Understood? Thank you. I just wanted to clear the air on that one. Speaking of gospel and Kiss, I was almost fired because of playing gospel music. I started the gospel music at Kiss.
What?
Because I liked the music. Why am I loving a God who's giving parents who are giving me a grief to go to church?
Wow.
I put God on hold and I just stopped going. Didn't stop believing, but I was not growing spiritually. And you know what happens when you're not growing spiritually. He ghosts me soon after he's told me his mom is sick and she needs to go to India. I help him, we raise funds. Then out.
He disappeared.
He disappears. So I'm like, what nonsense is this? I mind my business. 2 months later, I see the phone ringing. It's the same guy. I'm like, let me hear what nonsense you have to say. I pick the phone. Because I'm ready for nonsense. And he tells me, I just wanted to call you and tell you, my mom died. Thank you so much for helping me raise the funds. I'm like, what?
I'm doing a gig at NSK.
Ah, nice. Today? Or
no, March 31st.
Okay, so now the...
Easter Sunday.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I've not done a DJ Mo's gig for, I don't even know for how long.
Okay.
It's been such a long time.
Yeah.
And then, one of those things that we do is you raise other DJs and they come on.
You let go of the thing. I mean, I think even now, like, everyone's like, so you do radio too? And I'm like, no, let me now help the next generation thrive. And so that's how I found myself now saying, you know what? Do the training. It's been sitting in my computer since 2020. I was like, I want to do the training. Didn't know how to reach out. Then I'm like, is radio a dying brand? Okay, but still, I can still train. The same skills are for interviewing, for hosting.
Yeah.
So as a podcaster, whether you're going to be a TV host, the skills remain the same.
Yeah.
It's just that your audience is slightly different. So now that is how I've gotten to be. Okay. Also, the Lord said, move.
Oh,
now.
You didn't have a plan?
No.
You didn't have a choice?
No. I wasn't. I was just chilling. And then after prayer and fasting of January, he said, Allah, how long is this thing sitting in your computer for? Another year is going to end, my friend. From 2020, we're in 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that is how I find myself now. Like, okay, let's take my brand came network to now offer opportunities to train the younger people into this space of being a great radio host, podcast host, being a voiceover artist, public speaking.
Yeah.
And interestingly, there's a lot of people interested more in public speaking, which anyway encompasses everything.
Yes.
But yeah, so the classes are beginning in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Plug it in.
Yeah.
Where is it going to be happening?
So I'll do them virtually.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of it is virtually. And then I have a few classes which are in person.
Yeah.
But it's based on purely of seriousness of registration. We're starting with the radio one. So we have a standard one for the person who thinks they want to be on radio. They will have an idea. They don't have an idea of exactly all the things that encompass it. That's a standard package. Mm-hmm. And then there's now the premium, which is for people who have at least 2 years and above experience, engaging either in a podcast or a radio show.
Yeah.
And they actually know when I tell you prep, a link, the show clock, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't have to start from the beginning
to
tell you that these things exist and what they mean. Mm-hmm. So the registration actually starts tomorrow, the 13th of March, and closes by the 4th of April. Classes start on the 6th.
6th of April.
Yeah.
That's what's up,
for 6 weeks.
So, we were talking about Gen Z.
Where?
And then the guys, you're saying registration starts.
Yeah. So I'm yeah. So let me just tell you, I'm very concerned about our next generation because they want stuff, and when it's offered to them, they don't have the right approach on getting it. So any business will tell you that we follow an email protocol because then you get all the information. It's formal.
Yeah.
It's not buddy. And then you can go back to it. You're not looking through WhatsApps looking for where is your message. It's formal. WhatsApp is a conversation for friends. It's a social. So work and social don't seem to have any clear lines.
But these guys,
it's blurred. It's the same thing, or it's the only thing. Actually, somebody asked me because now I did first a webinar just this past week to talk about what the programs are going to be, to introduce them to people. Sign-ups were crazy. I posted it on a Monday, and by Tuesday, 5 o'clock, I had to shut it down because it was full.
That's amazing.
It was full. And it's when you the way I did the registration is, if you want to be part of the webinar, just send the word webinar. We'll send you a link and go and fill out the registration.
And guys responded
immediately.
That's what's up.
And they filled out the forms. 100 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, stop to your jar. Because it was an online one.
Yeah.
And I said, the limit is 100 because at some point you can't talk to so many people. 30 people are the ones who showed up. It is okay, the 30, they got the information. So later, I'm asking a few people who I actually know who registered. And I happen to know them personally. And I know they're interested, like for real. And I never checked my email. You mean my email address is full? Someone's telling me it's full because they've never opened those emails. And I'm like, Gen Z.
The guys who tell you, lakini hukutuambia.
Exactly.
Haukutukumbusha.
And I sent reminders, really nice written emails reminding them. And I'm going, so you want me to personally now text all of you?
Yeah.
In your WhatsApp, which is for your personal engagement?
Hi, Kate.
Jeez.
How are you doing? You have to start by checking up on them, by the way. Make sure that their feelings are okay before
they tell you, but my mental space is not able to receive this information today.
I'm feeling kind of depressed, so just go easy with me.
What has happened, Mose? What have we created? Because somewhere...
What have we created?
Yes, it's us. Because I don't know what age group you're in, but I believe we're in the same age group. Look, by the way, wish me happy birthday. You all better have a gift for me.
Is your birthday today?
No, it's on Saturday.
We're much babies.
Yeah.
That's good conversation.
Finished. We are
legends.
The party's on right here at Karen Connect.
Yeah.
I'm turning 48. I mean, I'm not the chicks afraid to say how old I am. I've lived a good life. God has been good. And I look this good at 48.
You look really good,
Thank you.
God's been good.
We must accept how we are, we've reached here. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if at all you are able to forget to check your emails. How you're the ones applying for jobs, right? And you're openly telling me that I didn't tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Then you want me to check on your mental health. we are the parents of those children. At this age, if we are to have children, my friends who have children at this age, their kids are the ones who are between 16 and 21. Okay? That's the age group.
Yeah.
Those are the children we're talking about. So people who are anything from 18 and above, this is courses for them. And they're the ones not checking their emails. Yeah. So our generation has failed them. Gen X has failed Gen Z. I'll tell you why.
Have we?
Because we babied them.
No.
Yes.
I think the same way, and we were having these conversations earlier, the same way we were different from our parents. When we were doing things and our parents are wondering, what's wrong with this child? Is this my child?
Lakini. Okay, our parents, what they didn't understand is the choices of things we wanted to do as careers, because those things had never been socially in their spaces before. So for instance, I wanted to be a radio host. There was only VOK when I was saying I want to be a radio host, okay? The Voice of Kenya, for the Gen Zs who have no clue what I am talking about. It is the Voice of Kenya, the national radio station, which is now Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, KBC. Hata mko najua inaitwa Kenya Broadcasting. KBC too ni KBC. But at the time, anybody who was giving entertainment value on that capacity had been somebody who was like doing it as a part-time, but had another job. Yeah. And that's the truth for the generation of our parents. So when you say that's what you want to do, they think you're confused by entertainment.
You're joking.
It's only just that you're seeing the fun element, but you're not seeing the work ethics.
Yeah.
They've come from shags to a big city in Nairobi, kutafuta kazi. Sasa we're bringing you up in this Nairobi, alafu unaanza kuniambia mambo ya kujibamba.
Unataka kuleta mchezo sasa.
Mchezo kwa kazi.
Yeah.
And I'm paying for school fees. My mother said, the school fees I'm paying in this university. You go find a degree in this university. Because I wanted to go. Deo had just started communication.
Yeah.
So I was like, communication. My mom said, call me what? You can communicate with me. You go and you do a degree where your brothers are in school. What? Go to USIU and find a degree.
Wow.
So I went to USIU, angry. By the way, angry because I'm like, I want to do this. Yeah. And the degree has just started.
Yeah.
And I believe this was like, wow, fate has come. You know, I've been thinking about this since I was a young girl. And then suddenly there's a campus that is, offering it. It's not focusing directly on what I want. Comms,
yeah.
Because there before it was just KMTC and those were short courses. It was not a degree.
Yeah. Okay. I think you get a diploma.
So, I mean, that conversation would have been different. Like, you just want a diploma, but I wanted to do it as a degree.
Yes.
And now here's the opportunity. And my folks said,
no.
I said, okay. I go to USIU. I look. Business administration, international business, international technology. I don't know, information tech. I'm like, he said, what? Mathematics? Me?
Nada.
Nah. And so my options were psychology and international relations. Because at that time, that's all there was. Wow. That wasn't business or IT related.
You didn't want anything to do with numbers.
I would have failed. Let me tell you, first of all, I didn't get my sum cum laude because I had to take a class for finance and that I failed. It removed me from a GPA ya huku. Then the option was repeat the class. I said, I'll just fail again. It's okay. I just won't get my super degree. I just get the degree. It is fine.
I got the paper.
Yeah. But it's because it's I mean, everybody has a strong suit.
Yes.
Languages, history, anything that has deep conversations to find a solution to something.
Yeah.
The conversation is what drives me. I've been that way since I was a child. I used to talk a lot.
And you still talk.
And I still talk.
Yeah.
So I don't think I was going to change, but my parents didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
So I went to USIU. I looked. I said, psychology. I know people. I know people. So I'm not doing psychology. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what IR was about. I didn't.
Oh.
And so I just chose it because it is the degree that is looking less intimidating and that my parents have said they're going to pay. Otherwise, they're not paying.
Yeah.
Choosing education was important to me at the time. And that's how we were brought up. And so I did IR. But it worked for me eventually because IR teaches you how to research. There's a lot of research.
Yeah.
There's a lot of presentations, debating your facts, arguing your facts.
Yeah.
What does radio do? The same thing. You research, you come and you debate it
So it was
out.
preparing you for, in a way.
In a different format.
That's really good.
It prepared me. And with that being more important than just the talking and the technical. Technical is not the important part of the radio. The radio is a conversation.
Yeah.
So eventually it worked for me. But at the time, that was not what my parents were seeing. And unlike our Gen Z generation, you see, a Gen Z put in my situation will be fighting with their parent. In fact, will say, in fact, you're giving me mental disorders.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for a psychologist and report you. You know? Us guys, we suck it up. And you say, hey, just do what you gotta do because it's not my house.
But see, these guys, the Gen Z right now, the thing is, they're more exposed than we were.
And that's because of all the information,
technology is here with them.
Everything is there. So, of course, they know a lot more.
And now we're going to deal with Generation Alpha.
I'm afraid.
So, and my kids are there now. These are guys who've grown up with phones. At least Gen Z, they also grew up with phones.
But they came a bit later.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, Generation Alpha is those guys who...
Everything is tech.
Everything is here.
Yeah.
So, for me, when I think about the Gen Z, I think they have a place, they have a role to be able to adapt to the generation, to what's currently happening. Because they'll come to us for work.
Yeah.
And there's a way we want work to be done.
Yeah.
But then, so they need to move up to our expectations. But then I think for us, we have a lot to unlearn.
To give them a chance.
No, to learn this generation. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to communicate.
Yeah.
And you're trying to offer a product to someone.
And you need to speak to the same person who will buy that product. And that's the person on the table.
So now, when I get a chance to talk to parents, I'm like, it's up to us to catch up with the next generation. Otherwise, we're going to completely lose them.
Yeah. We have a job to do, but like I said, right now, if you're not bringing up your children with some elements of how you were brought up, there's a problem.
But we need to model it for them.
You can model it, but I don't think that the discipline of taking responsibility, the discipline of actually being able to be honest, the values and what will change dramatically just because it's a different generation. They may express themselves differently, but there's a way that you can raise your child to understand that you don't speak back rudely to an adult, that you will say please and thank you.
You'll stand up when you see an elderly person.
You see, so I feel...
Do you hear Kate? Sorry. When you see us coming in, you smile matafadhali.
And you say hello. I think the reason I'm saying that we also have a role to play in how we are bringing up those children is that for us guys who went through what we would call the hardest part of being brought up, because our parents brought us up in a city that they were already afraid of. Think of it. Ukienda Nairobi, jiji utaharibika, utapotea. That's what our parents were told, right?
Now,
So they came with fear. Then they fall in love in Nairobi, where, of course, Nairobi is the capital of broken hearts.
You shared a gem. I'm going to tell you in a minute.
Then they now have to prove to their parents that we are going to live in this Nairobi with this person that we met in the city, who we don't know where he comes from in the village. Not necessarily are you marrying from the same village. And which is unheard of to our parents. Our grandparents, that was unheard of. You marry within the community. Now you've come and you've crossed the line, you've gone somewhere far. And then you're staying in that city that I warned you about. So everything in their mind is, I need to prove to my parents back in Shags that the city will not eat us up. And so I will make sure that I bring up my children the way you brought me up, to make sure that that's how my mother brought me up. My parents brought us up in the city, on Wayaki Way, next to Kianda School, where they still live today. But I tell you, we were brought up like we were in Shags. Mose, you will not believe it. You see me now, you see me looking gisty and everything, but friend,
back in the day,
what? Let me just give you a quick lay of the land. You've heard where the home is?
Yes.
Huku ni uptown, sindio?
Next to
Kianda School, uptown, Kapasarian Avenue. It's even called Avenue.
Back in the day, there's like a young girl that had a mad crush on
that avenue.
She used to be called Nancy. No, she's called Nancy.
At least she your sites.
Mimi nimetoka Kangemi.
So unajua kwetu. When you saw 2-3 kama mimi, wazijua.
Alafu ndio back in the day we used to come and we had to walk all the way to Kianda to get a matri.
To get a matri because the matris would be buying there and then they turn. So that is home. Okay, that is home.
Yeah, huko Babini.
Yeah, huko ni Babini.
Yeah.
Our neighbors were all Indians and white people.
Yeah.
In fact, the black people came out when I was like 12. That's when the black backs came. Okay. Aya.
Oh, so your neighbors were kina Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
They were, the Basings, the Sudirs, and the Mr. Whites. We even had Hungarians down the road. Those were my neighbors. Okay. Aya. Now, in Mr. and Mrs. Mumo's house, there were cows. In that uptown location, there were chickens.
What?
Okay? Now, what? Mr. and Mrs. Mumo are very clear. You see this car here? It is my car. Me, I went to school. I worked hard. I bought a car. It carries you when I want it to carry you. If.
Yeah.
Well, I went to school in Loreto Convent, Musongari. My brothers were in Saints.
Don't tell me you had to walk to school.
What?
Hey.
Walked to school and back.
And then there's that Kahil for Kabasila.
My friends. And occasionally my father will drive past you. Because it's his car. If he sees you, he'll give you a lift. But then, he passes you, you get home, you're like, Dad, I was running with that car. Then he tells you, people who own cars, we don't look at people who are walking.
I can Kalekye remember, we used to have like 15 subjects. Our bags were heavy.
Man, your bag is heavy. Let me tell you, you had to save your juice,
Yeah.
So that when you get to the top of the hill, first you sit there and you think about your life. Every day, you sit there and you think about your life. Then from there, the stretch to Kianda is at the end of that whole road.
Yeah.
Like it's far east.
I love it's like once you climb the steep hill, then you have this gentle
hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that is how I grew up. But remember, in the morning, you're also walking.
Yes.
After you've milked the cows and picked the eggs.
Oh, you had to go milk the cows? You know how to milk a cow?
Don't take me back there. I cannot do it again. I'm not doing it again. But what I'm saying is that is how we were brought up. And we were brought up in the most uptown part of Nairobi.
And you never complained about having mental health issues.
What's your mental health? Let me tell you one day. Because again, Loreto, it teaches you about your feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the English way of bringing up children. So one day, I don't know, I've been given an homework that my teacher taught me. I've forgotten kidogo. Then my mom's trying to show me and I'm like, si vile mwalimu alisema. The teacher is always right.
Yes.
Then she told me, I pay that at the school fees. I also went to school, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to teach you. It became a kid. Said, you hurt my feelings. Moz. I was the feelings. Feel this. I was beaten.
Feel this.
What? And that was the last time I discussed feelings, mental, anything or otherwise. That story ended there. Okay? So as much as I am who I am today, there are certain things today we were brought up with. If the neighbor's parent sees you misbehaving, utachunwa tu, and they'll report it to your parent. Today, if you're a parent and your kids misbehave and someone tries to discipline your kid, you are the one who's going to be lecturing that parent.
Yeah. Who are you?
Why are you doing this to my kid?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. That is nonsense.
But see, for us, it's because we were those guys who were told on by our neighbors.
And so that is why umejijibu.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you we are the problem. Because we're like, I don't want me to go through what. So we were going through mental health. And because we didn't have a place to express it, now we are protecting our children so that they don't feel what we felt.
Or the things that made us the people who we are.
The things that made us who we are. So we are the ones who have created these little madness that we are now not understanding. I just wanted you to answer yourself. You've answered yourself.
Sijakuita hivyo.
Sasa ana kwa ameshika. Sasa unanimulika na producer ni Gen Z. Check him say. So the truth is our generation have created children who are behaving in a certain way.
Yeah.
Not all, because, and why I say that is because I have friends who've managed to bring up some very well-disciplined children who are able to stand up when older people come in. They have respect for them. They express themselves, but they know how to express themselves in a decent manner while speaking with older people, or just being respectful overall. So if there is a bunch of children who have been brought up to do that in the same generation, and then there's those other guys who just falafel all over the place, there's a problem with the upbringing, and it's the parent. And me, I say, let's take responsibility as Gen X. Let's do a bit better.
Let's take some ownership.
Let's just own this problem.
We know we're those guys who raised our, I like how these conversations have gone. You know, those guys who, when our parents were raising us up, the places for hanging out was, you go to Huru Park,
row the boat.
You row the boat. That's like Yani.
And then you car and you have chips and chicken there from Kenchi.
You've been spoiled, Bana.
Alafu mtie Blue Room.
Blue Room. What?
For those who don't know Blue Room, the closest thing is snow cream. If you don't know snow cream, it's the best ice cream in the whole of Nairobi.
And snow cream is still there
it's
today.
Exactly the same way it was when we were growing up.
That's on Mwendembingu Street. Go check it out.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
Or we used to be taken to City Park to see the monkeys.
See the monkeys. Ah, man.
I love they come steal your food if you're a kid.
You cry a bit, but you still say, hey, I saw the monkeys. You have a store for school tomorrow.
And they had panya.
Good old days. Good old days.
But with those guys who have raised up Gen Z by, you know, for us, the other thing we used to do, Sunday, there was no debate. No. The plan was you go to church in the morning, then you go for other activities in the afternoon. But with those guys who, Sunday morning we sleep, in the afternoon, we go with our kids to the bar.
Now that is why I'm saying we cannot escape from taking the blame. Because as much as you hated being told there is no discussion in this house, everyone who lives under my roof shall be ready for church by 9:30.
It was not an option.
There was no option. And then you will wait because, you know, after church conversations, they take long. Utangoja hapa umekaukiwa umestavu. Utangoja mpaka 3 o'clock meeting ya mami ishe. Tuingie kwa gari sasa tuende
tutafute. Sendo menda lunch. Hakuna snacks.
Hakuna snacks is your face. What are those? Even water is a problem. And dare you use your money, which was supposed to be for offer to go buy cools.
You know, we used to be given offering. Every one of us.
Everybody is given. According to your age, which one can you manage? You look like a guy of 10 cents. Then as you grow, you will become 50 cents someday. You know, but that's how it was. I mean, that's how it was. So everyone was given according to their age. And if you escape and try to go and buy cools, I don't know how parents would know.
Oh man!
But that day it was going to be.
But really they probably knew the mother for cools.
But
the Kalekye lipiti hapa.
One day, but let's not go into that story. It was bad. Never again.
So we need to take ownership, and we refuse to think about the impact of this. I remember one time, the Daily Nation, those days when guys used to read newspapers. The whole front page was the lost generation. That was their title. I think it was the lost generation. And the whole, you know, they had a picture of, you know, a parent with kids in a bar.
And they were happily saying this is restaurant time. But there's drinks, alcohol, dancing in the background, music. But they are eating. But still.
I love, you know, what we do is we go sit down in a place like this. We have our drinks like we're doing. Yes, we're hanging out with our kids. We're really not hanging out with them.
No.
Because we're going to catch our pints.
And the kids can do whatever it is they need to do.
They've gone to the discotheque. And they're being entertained by the clown. You know, and no clowns, we love you guys. You guys do an amazing job.
Well.
And then the music.
I don't know where that's been said with a lot of, but anyway.
Then the music that the kids are being made to dance to is crazy.
It's adult music. I mean, we had clowns. We had Kinimacho, if you remember.
Yes, that was a nice TV show.
That was Kinimacho. And then if you go to a birthday party and Mr. John has been invited, I went to several, because obviously, you know, my uptown neighbors. Mr. John of Kinimacho, live. He was our celeb. He was a Goan man, and he was pulling all these things out of his. So that entertainment I remember being at parties where he was at, and the music was that kiddie music that goes with his show.
Yeah.
And through the entire party, it's like the nursery rhymes and those little kiddie songs that are being played. There was nothing else, or no music at all.
Yeah.
There was no need for music. In fact, we are busy playing music. What time?
There was no music, actually.
Second problem we have, because as life has become tougher on us, we're parents who both have to work extra hard. We grew up maybe with parents who, maybe not all our parents in that generation were working, our parents' generation. So there was always somebody to come home early, be with the kids, do homework, blah, blah, blah. Now who's doing homework with the kids? The house help.
Yeah.
What is she playing on her phone because she has a phone and has connected to your Wi-Fi? Her own videos.
Yeah.
What is the kid saying? See, they're besties. That's her bestie.
Yeah.
In fact, the child will cry for the housey more than the child will cry for you.
Yeah.
Over Christmas, when the housey is leaving, them the kids are depressed. Not because they have to do work, because that was our depression. Because I remember, guy, Jesus. Hey.
It's okay, you can have therapy here. It goes out.
Yeah, I mean, therapy. Let me tell you.
It's a safe space.
I closed school. Now I've been shifted from Loretta Convent. Nimeenda Mboni Girls. Nikom boarding school. Okay? Nimeenda boarding school.
Are you for real?
My friend. No. That is what happened. Nobody's picking you up. Nobody's dropping you to school. You leave Kianda, go catch a bus, go to country bus, go to school, and come back vice versa.
What?
Uende ufike Machakos, then utafute ya kuenda mpaka Mboni. It was a whole day's trip.
What?
So now I've come back, I've been with my bags, nini. I've entered the house like this as the housey is walking out. Enjoy your holiday. She's gone.
Hey, yeah.
So who's the bot for the holiday?
You.
Thanks. And you tell me I don't need therapy.
Mazi, you need therapy.
I need therapy, man. I know my mom keeps complaining. Every time you go to do an interview, you really say things that make me look bad. And I'm like, no, it's the truth,
It's the truth. I'm just saying what you did to me.
You didn't ask me how I was feeling because that wasn't a concern. Here we're asking our kids, so how are you feeling? No, that's a lot of work. You don't have to do that. We're paying them to polish their own shoes. And we're paying them to wash your car.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
My kids negotiate those things.
Yeah.
We've told them there are certain chores
that are not about.
As long as you're living under this roof,
there you go.
You have to do that.
Then they come and they start telling you, but now, Dad, if we do like this way and then this thing, they negotiate.
Yeah.
And then guess what? You, because you have a soft spot, and because you know that I would have loved to have negotiated with my dad, but there was no room. There was no room.
No.
Imagine Moses tell me the truth. Tell us the truth. You negotiate and you fall for the trap.
Let me tell you, yesterday, I was speaking in church on Sunday. And so I was talking about grace.
Okay.
And I was saying how, because of our sinful nature, because of our sinfulness, we were by nature objects of God's wrath. So let me ask guys, who has ever faced the wrath of a parent?
Wow.
Hey, I'm like, the whole church needs to go for therapy.
Everybody's hands were up.
Not even one.
Wait. Papa putting two hands up. Like, hey, me.
Let me tell you, Steve. Steve was our producer. I don't even know I'm laughing. But Steve, you know how our kids ask us for snacks now? And they keep bugging us for snacks. They don't even care if you're in a meeting. Sometimes, Daddy, I'm hungry. I want a snack.
No respect.
Steve, he went to ask his mom. He was hungry. The mom was making chaps.
Yeah.
So kenda kuuliza the mom for chapo.
Yeah. Ile ya maze nipea tu moja ya
I'm hungry. Aligongwa na madhake na sufuri.
Bas. Now that is the generation. You see what I'm saying? Let me tell you. Yani, there was no it was this. Have you seen as if I am cooking these chapatis for you to eat them now? You will wait until it's time for everybody to eat. But you see that kind of discipline. Is it impossible for you to instill certain things as a parent now? Is it impossible for you to instill certain rules now that you saw some of them were just terrorism?
Yeah, oh man, it was straight up.
Okay.
As in,
but
straight up nasty. Yani.
But there are some most that you can say, I appreciate because it made me who I am today.
Yeah.
There's some which you're like, okay, inyewe, if my parent didn't do this, I'd be a vagabond. Na ulilelewa kangemi, so unajua Kenya nasema. Unajua Kenya nasema, tungekuwa vagabonds. Hiyo route yetu. Ni juu tu watu awasemi ati because hatuko famous ka vile Buru ilikuwa, for example.
Like ilikuwa na mathri zetu.
Yeah. Let's not go there.
Buru ilikuwa na madem.
Yeah. All the guys used to leave and go look for chicks in Buru. That I remember. But you see, is it impossible? Do you find it as a parent that you struggle to instill certain values in your children?
Yeah.
You find it difficult?
I find it difficult.
Is it difficult because they don't listen, or what's the difficulty?
I think for some of it is how those values were instilled in us.
Okay.
You know, there was the fear.
Yeah, we feared our parents more than we
there was the fear of, like, my siblings, all of us feared my dad. And, you know, he was like...
Ukisikia ameingia unaona scatter. You know the way cockroaches scatter when you put on the light.
My siblings would be playing football in a field like that's like maybe 300 meters away from home. But there was only one way home. So when my dad would be dropped home,
you can see.
Yani, the way they would scatter from that field.
It's like they were never there.
By the time he's getting home,
wako home mbele yake.
Alafu ni kama washabadilisha nguo. It's like they've not been anywhere.
I can relate.
You get so. And the other thing that, but when I think about certain values, like my dad was a teacher.
Okay.
You know, so for us, reading was not
optional. It was not optional.
It was not optional.
And you must be good.
And there was no way you're missing school.
Yeah. Hata fever iko imegonga wapi.
Shule lazima uende. Nowadays, my kids will try negotiate about sitting down to do their homework.
Sorry.
They'll sit down and start negotiating about doing their homework. We're like, you need to do your homework.
It is your work that you were given in class. You should have negotiated in class and said,
with your teacher,
we don't want to do this. Can we do this or not? Don't come to negotiate with me.
As in, that's a real struggle for us at home.
Negotiating about homework.
Negotiating about homework. The other one now is about doing chores. You know, they'll try and negotiate about chores. You know, when you get to a certain age, you're expected to do dishes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a standard protocol. Like I need to start teaching you how to have survival skills and be responsible for something, because I don't want you moving into your own home and then you're wondering, hey, is it dirty dishes?
So now we're having to teach them how to do. And I think they've picked up. They've done a really good job, like, you know, about tidying up their rooms, doing your own bed. I remember my shosho telling me, listen, you've slept on that bed, you need to say thank you to the bed.
But isn't that a nice lesson? Say thank you to the bed. In fact, when you're told that way, say thank you to the bed, it kind of makes sense. Like, oh, okay. I'm making the bed is not a chore.
Yeah.
It's a thank you. You know? And that, I think, is a very smart way to tell it.
Me, my grandma there was no way I was leaving her house without doing the bed. No.
And at the end of the day, if you start your day without making your bed, actually, look at the way your day goes.
Till today.
Look at the way your day goes.
First thing you do when I wake up.
You make your bed.
Make my bed.
Yeah.
So
it didn't change after you got married? Because let me tell you something, you know, men. Muko na kachida kidogo. You wake up and you get out and you go shower because the missus will make the bed.
Let me tell you, Kalekye.
We must make the bed together. You want to marry me? We're making the bed. We're making, you make your side, me I make my side. Understood? Thank you. I just wanted to clear the air on that one.
Us guys don't have a house help.
Yeah, very good. And you're doing well, Mos. You're doing well.
Sometimes I'm like, our biggest beef, actually one of my biggest fights with my wife always comes because we have like 9 to 5 jobs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we both have huge responsibilities on our shoulders, leading the organizations that we have.
Yes.
And then we come back home, you're tired. If someone drops the kids in the morning, the other person has to pick up the kids.
Sharing the responsibility.
Then you have to cook. Mimi, now one thing Kalekye never did.
I learned how to cook.
I never saw my dad go into the kitchen to cook.
You see.
So I never learned how to cook.
But she knew this before she married you.
And she knew this before she married.
As long as you knew.
But now, because we're in this together.
And you're sharing the
responsibility. And we're sharing the responsibility. So I have to do everything.
Hata kama ni mbaya, ni mbaya.
Kuna siku moja alikuja home akakuta, I was like, you know, let me just surprise her with a nice meal. She's come from a journey. She came to help me finish the process because I had all the spices on the table. I was like, what the heck do I do with these things? Because I'm clueless.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me give you a tip, right?
Never.
When you don't know what to do,
Yeah.
stick to the basics.
Which is
You have your salt. Stick to fresh things. Get fresh garlic.
Man, listen to Fadali.
Okay? Just make sure you have a lot of onion to fry your whatever you're frying. Take your garlic and blend it with your tomato or crush it and just weka garlic mingi.
Yeah.
Tumia chumvi. Washana nayo. Weka dania. Washana nayo.
Atakono tengeneza mayai.
No, mayai na wewe sasa wewe mayai. Kaujui mayai ama Kenya. Nini mayai ndio tunakulanga kila mayai pasua ama Kenya. They boil them. I mean really it can never go wrong. But really in terms of just avoiding ati to get confused by spices.
Yeah. That's a good tip actually.
Garlic will change the meal. A good amount of onion will change the meal and dania. You cannot go wrong.
I wish I knew.
Just now you know. In fact, now you're going to make an kuku fry.
Nowadays I've upped my game, but now I've been forced to cook even more. Which actually I find myself now enjoying to cook and trying out different flavors as well.
Yeah.
But I thank God, and you were saying that you're telling the Jama that you're going to marry. You make his own side of the bed. For me, there was no option. We just had to do things together.
But was it foreign for you? Because you see, I'm imagining if you've never seen your dad do certain things, there's an expectation that most people have when they're getting married that I expect it to be like this. We always talk about the woman and her expectations. Yeah, we walked into this one. We always talk about we always talk about the woman.
Yeah.
And she has high expectations. But we never talk about the man's expectations because they've been made like they're normal.
Yeah.
Like it's normal that I will wake up and because my wife is here to take care of me,
what?
She will make the bed. Because she's here to take care of me, I'll find breakfast on the table. Because she's here to take care of me and my children, they will be fed in the morning and be ready, dressed for me to take them to school. And that's the most I can do.
Yeah. So I've got to say, man, hey, you menipele kambali.
Yeah. Those expectations are never discussed. And so that's why it's interesting to hear. You said it was just us two and we had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But there must have been a discussion for you to get to that point where we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we're balancing it.
The interesting thing is we grew up with the house help my entire life in my mom's house. But when Debs and I were getting married, it was very clear for me, I don't want a live-in house help.
Okay. It was you who didn't want.
I did not want a live-in. Both of us.
Okay.
We both do not want a live-in house help. And so when we got married, we didn't need a house help. We had the lady who used to come and clean the house.
And go.
Yeah. And she used to come once a week, twice a week, sorry.
Because it's just the two of you. You don't need much.
No, we don't need anything else. Maybe that's it. We finished our jobos. It's just the two of us. We can wash dishes.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
You're washing what you use.
Yeah,
really, what are you using?
Like Kalekye, I've never washed clothes.
Wait. Wheelback selector. Ulilelewa Kangemi. I want us to go back there. What? When you grew up, how did that go?
But we had...
Yeah, okay. Where did you go to school?
I went to Visa Osho.
So he's more Barbie than me. And you guys are here telling me I'm the Barbie. Ndio Barbie. Bro.
Hakuna. Visa.
Cheki. Wacha nikurudishe nyuma kidogo.
Yeah.
So where did your parents think you'd learn how to wash clothes from?
I never even saw my brothers washing clothes.
You're the what born?
But I'm the last one.
And so how many are there ahead of you?
4.
Okay. So me, I have 3 ahead of me. They're all boys.
Yeah.
Then my sister was born 10 years after me. So it was us and then her. Yeah. Because obviously she didn't understand our problems, Actually,
it's exactly the same thing between me and my
So where do
there's a 7-year difference.
Okay. Me, it's a 10-year difference. Yeah. 10 years, 10 days exactly. Now us guys, again, remember, there's cows, there's chicken, and then the housey leaves. As you walk in, she leaves. My friend, you will wash your clothes, And then, even when the housey is there...
You're still going to wash them?
Because, guess what? That's my house help. You do pay her.
Hey, your folks.
You pay her.
Your folks are gangster.
You know what? Hey, but they were teaching us to understand that you will do things for yourself until you can afford to pay for the luxury of owning a car, the luxury of having a house help.
Wow.
There were lessons. So I hated it, but I understood it.
Yeah.
Because when COVID hit, we had gone to a place where I'd reached a level where I'm living alone, but I have a housey coming 3 times a week. For why? I cannot explain that today. Okay? COVID hit and I was like, wait. Now she can't come.
Yeah.
it's not safe, nini. I have to do things for myself. It
those
took
lessons.
some time to remember kuna kitu ulifundishwa, and until now I've never gone back to having one.
You don't have a house.
She comes to do general cleaning.
Yeah.
Once in 2 weeks, like thara. I do everything else myself.
But see, one of the things I definitely do appreciate though about I never got to do the house. And I remember my sisters leaving. What? And me trying to walk into the house after she's cleaned it.
Where?
Hey, yeah.
Chaos.
Hey.
Because now you're not going to bend then and mop that floor.
No.
You are the boy.
Yeah, remember. Hey.
Ata kuchapa, muta fight.
She doesn't care.
Because she knows what it's taken for her to have to do that.
Like she's on her knees.
Yeah.
Going around the house, moving the furniture, kila kitu maze cleaning the house.
And then our parents had a thing for the house must be cleaned top to bottom every day.
Every day.
You know, you're like, which dust? They were not living next to a dusty road. There's not. You know, now later I looked and I said, my mother is just a mad person. Because when that housey goes, now my brothers, the one I follow is 3 years ahead of me. So at some point, they're either in boarding school, high school, or they've gone to college, and I'm the one there. So the toughest time was when now they've finished Form 4, me I finished Standard 8.
Yeah.
So then you see they're looking for those things to keep them busy because they have to bridge before they go to campus.
Yeah.
So they're not home. Who is home?
Kalekye.
My father, every day of his life, has come home for lunch. So
lunch has to be ready?
You have to start with washing clothes. Please washing for everyone, including the boys, because they're busy.
Yeah, the men have gone to work. Men at work.
Other than me, that's my mom, my dad, my 3 brothers, and my younger sister and myself.
Wow.
Hivyo. Aya, nyumba ni kubwa, bedrooms ni 4.
Si zile nyumba za siku hizi.
Toilet and bathroom ziko ngapi? Top to, yani, let me tell you. I remember one day, I have worked so hard. I've had to stop and make lunch because my dad has to come for lunch and he'll be there at exactly 1:30 and then he leaves. So, ni 4 o'clock, bado na sweep sitting room. Mpaka nimelala. Na ni lazima nipike dinner.
Oh, man.
So my argument used to be with my folks that my brothers have come home and then you're telling me, they're tired. They've come from work.
Calling me?
I'm like, I've been working here the whole day. They won't wash the dishes. Where wash her to? Then I told her, I knew it too. Just Yoshi's in your but answer to, I miss Yoshi. Hey, I've washed clothes for these guys. I've done what? So my whole holiday will be work.
Yeah. Chores for the house.
Homework, utakuta unaifanya.
We used to be given holiday homework. It was a lot.
So much. So by the time even you're getting to do homework, you're tired.
Yeah.
So when I think about anybody who I will come across whose kids are in my life, and now my nieces and nephew, I love them. My siblings' kids, I love them. But they know we'll have fun and I'll make it interesting for you to do the work.
Yeah.
So that it's not a command that you're afraid that if you don't do that, something will, like, take it as part of the system. Okay? So when I think of being on holiday, my mom, first of all, hakuna kulala. Ati juu mmefunga shule. Huku kwetu lazima watu wafanye kazi. Also because children are extra workers.
Yeah.
That's how
actually,
extra workers. So 6 o'clock.
They talk about child labor.
You hear my mother start moving in the room. But then, do you know we all run downstairs?
Once your mom is awake?
Once my mom is awake, you all run downstairs. Shika tu hata kitambaa ya kupanguza kitu. Lala kwa so. Ukisikia na teremka, panguza tu. Hata ujui unapanguza. Panguza tu kitu. Patikana kama una do job.
Yeah.
We do job.
Yeah.
Because that's how it would be.
Yeah.
So for my nieces and nephews, for all of us, all my siblings, we all have instilled an ethic of doing work is for your good.
Yeah.
So that when you move and you are able to take care of yourself. So while this generation needs understanding, give them the understanding and how it will help them.
Yeah. Maybe give them the explanation.
The explanation. I would say that's how we do things differently because our parents, there was no explaining nothing. They don't owe you an explanation. I gave birth to you. I'm here taking care of you.
Can you imagine you asking your parents why?
What? No, see, I told you I used to talk a lot. I was beaten a lot for such silly questions that nobody told me you're not supposed to ask. In fact, I would have fit very well with the millennials and Gen Zs because I used to ask questions. I used to ask questions, or I turn the corner. Now we've come with my mom has told me, this. Then I turn the corner. Then I'm there now letting my words out.
Yeah.
As I'm facing away. One day, nimepiga corner from the kitchen.
Yeah.
Napiga hiyo zangu tu. She followed me. So, see, it's at night. So, most of our houses have those glass doors that have those two metal things. So, unaonekana.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, nisikia tu mwiko kwa kichwa. I didn't see her. Like, Yani, I will tell you something and then you're coming here to talk behind my back. Yeah, but
Steve, kuna companion hapa bro. Ati wakugonga na vitu kwa kichwa.
Where? But if your kids understand the value and they understand the why, because then they just want to know why.
Yeah.
I think we can still have a generation that understands the value of work ethic, because there's missing work ethic. And if we don't bring a generation that understands work ethic, all our industries will fail.
Yes.
Because they don't want to take responsibility.
Because there's certain things that you have to do.
You have to do them and there's no negotiation about
it's
them.
Work has to be done.
Just today I was talking to somebody who wants me to help train their radio hosts for a certain station. And he was saying, you ask somebody for a work plan, they send you half a page of a work plan for a whole quarter. Half a page.
Wow.
And that's after you've pushed them to send it. Or they are supposed to start the show with at X time, they're walking in at the time. Prep hour, nothing. And you want to be as good as Kalekye Mumo. Do you know how much work we used to put in?
What time did you used to go to the office?
So, when we started the Rush Hour, because we understood it was a primetime show, thankfully I had now the background that I had done working in sound and understood certain things. Shafi had done KMTC, so he understood certain things and he had been working in the production side. So we knew what does a primetime show mean and how work it takes to make it good. So when we started, we were given a 3-hour show because they were not sure how we'll do. So show would start at, not actually, was it 3 or 4 hours? It may have been 2 hours fast, 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
I used to listen to you guys. You guys were a killer team.
How we became a killer team was accidental, but that's a story for another day. Now, we're given a 2-hour show. So, the show starts at 5. Technically, the rules are come and prep by 4.
Yeah.
Us guys used to be at work at 1 p.m. because we do not want to get anything wrong.
Yeah.
To prep for a 2-hour show.
Wow.
And as the show grew, because eventually we were one of the people to have a 5-hour show. There's no...
From 2 to 7.
There's nobody who has a 5-hour show. No, from 3 to 8.
3 to 8. Oh, wow.
Nobody has a 5. Technically, that's too much for you as a host. Around the world, that's the standard is 4 hours. Is your maximum. We would be at work by 11, 10, 11.
To prep for that.
For that show.
There's no going into the show, into the studio
without preparation. Because one, you want to be a cut above the rest. We understood what it was like to be a cut above the rest. We understood that it's going to take extra effort to do it even better.
Yeah.
We knew we may not be the best, so we're going to have to put the extra work to make it work.
Yeah.
Now, if you were not brought up understanding work ethic, you would have not pulled that off at all. That you sit there and you prep for that long. Tell a Gen Z today.
But you think about every link that you're going to have?
Oh my gosh, Moz.
You think about
it, and me, I'm a perfectionist. It's a problem. I'm working on it. God is helping me. But
that's good. Don't lose it.
No, you see, technically, your prep sheet, because you understand the lingo.
Yeah.
You have to write every link. What are we saying here?
Yes.
From the station name, how are you saying it this time? What's the music? What are we? What's the prep on each song?
Yeah.
In each link, so I have prep sheets from Rush Hour to the Morning Kiss. I can show you today exactly what we have written. Kalekye, what you're saying. Shafi, what you're saying. What is the response? They may not come out in the exact same way, but everybody knows exactly where it's going because it's a script. Radio presenters are actors. So, do actors go without knowing their script? No. So why would we?
You know what you're talking about.
So, I would script the entire show, all 5 hours. Every link is got exactly what's going to happen here. The direction. If I'm pro today and you're con, which angle, and then I know when you say this, I know which response, or if something else comes to my mind. But it's still in line with what we're doing. Every hour, every link must be scripted. Are you going to do that in 1 hour?
I would never. I used to host, and I'm a DJ. So I remember when I used to host Kubamba, like on
the radio.
On the radio. Like on Family FM. From 9 p.m. to midnight. So it's just a DJ show.
But you still have to talk, right?
I still have to talk. Kalekye, there's no one day I'd ever walk in without knowing what I'm going to do with. Introduce will tell you. I knew how the show was going to start. How the links are going to go. Every song, including where I'm going to mix the song from.
Exactly. Now that work ethic.
As in, I've spent like a whole week prepping for that show for 3 hours.
And especially because it's a DJ show and you have very many songs you're mixing, you need to know exactly.
That time I'm competing with Akina Adrian and Akina John Rabah. Akina Pinye. Pinye has dance force on that side. And I'm like, I've just checked in as a Christian DJ.
And you need to make this work.
I need to make this work. So I have this uphill task.
And that extra work is what made us know who DJ Mose is.
I had to work my butt off.
So somebody wakes up and says, nataka kuwa kama wewe. Then you tell them, uko sure. Juu nikikuonesha vile kuwa kama mimi, unaweza disappear.
Siku hizo nakuja na hard disk na kuambia nipatie mziki. Kalekye.
You know, I come from tapes to CDs.
Let me tell you. In my house, my wife and I are having a conversation. Let me call it a conversation. She's asking me, Mose, why do you need these CDs? Because I have like over 1,000 CDs.
And you're not about to let them go.
She's like, you don't need them now. I know I don't need them now.
But no.
But when I think about...
That's the amount of work you had to take to make... Unakumbuka ukitembea na ile big CD bag.
CD, the Case Logics. Kalekye, let me tell you, Bana. I used to buy a CD for 1,200 shillings.
Exactly.
For one song. Alafu ndio ma DJs kizo na kama unakwambia kwa hard disk. One song. So you have many CDs that you bought to allow us to have the collection that we have today. I don't even know. Like that music probably is worth over $1 million plus.
A lot, because even some of those things, some of those songs they can't find.
They're not available.
They can't find them.
No. I've gone online and I'm looking for some. They're not available.
You can't.
And then here you have original CDs. So it's like you don't need them anymore. Just throw them online.
No, these are collectors' items.
Acha tu zikae tu. Si records zimerudi fashion.
Siku moja zitarudi na utakuwa starring.
Zitarudi tu.
Keep them. But I think the work ethic that we need to teach our children is important in terms of, I don't want to imagine nifike 80 years old and I am trying to have a conversation, nimefika, let's say, the hospital, because at 80 you'll need to go to the hospital. And then the Gen Z there is telling me, tumaka tap. Tumaka tap. It will go south.
Let me throw this one out there. Because I know maybe there's some DJs who are going to watch this. Or even as you talk to the Gen Z and, the younger people, the guys who are listening to us or watching us who have, people who are millennials or Gen Zs who are wondering how to be able to navigate through this. It's easy for someone to say, I don't have transport to come to work. I remember going to do radio shows, and the station doesn't care how you're going to get there.
Oh, absolutely. And they're not paying you?
They're not paying you. We've given you airtime. You'd better rock up.
You want the exposure? Yeah. You come.
You'd better rock up.
You come.
I remember, nilikoneshi fedha. I did not have a vehicle of my own to take me to the station. And my friend was not available some days to come and pick
you up. Ndio muende.
I had to walk around with a whole bag full of CDs and a mixer. I can't afford a taxi. I cross a field na hizi vitu zote with my machine.
Hoping utaibiwa.
Hoping utaibiwa ukivuka uwanja. Uchukue ma3.
Ukibeba hizo vitu?
Yeah. Ikushukishe tao.
Ndio
uchukue ma3 ingine.
Ndio uende station.
Ndio ufike KBC, Metro FM. Kufuata show.
Sorry, I was about to sing the song of what Metro was. Hook was, Metro is the bomb, is the bomb. Oh my God. I remember because I was auditioning to be a radio host when Metro was starting.
Yes.
I did very well. It's Kiswahili.
Yeah.
Kiswahili, same dama changu. And so they expected you to be able to do both.
They don't care.
And they're like, it's good. You have great English. Nini, nini. You have to do sports. You have to do Kiswahili. And then your English.
You have to navigate to make sure. Yeah. So anyway, here I am. I'm thinking, guys should have kwambia sina transi. And I'm like, you have a job that you need to go and do.
Do you want to do the job? Do you want to be good at the job? And it's true. I find that, to me, they don't understand the value of the opportunity the way we understood value of opportunity.
Yeah.
There are jobs we took that made absolutely no sense to anyone else but you. And it helped.
Yeah.
So, for example, when I graduated from USIU, when I passed, I told you I just missed the summa cum laude because of business, finance. And so I did well. I did really well. And IR technically is more in the politics and in the foreign affairs.
Yeah, the guys who end up in those spaces for foreign affairs,
So my first job after I did my internship was at the Turkish embassy. I was bored to death. I'm sorry, but I was bored because I'd get to work at 9. Nimeingia to 3 yangu kutoka Kianda. Nimeenda mpaka UN sides. That's where the embassy is. I'm there by 9, but by 11 I've finished everything they've given me to do. So I'm just like, wait.
I
have nothing else to do. Like those jobs at that level, there's not much. It's paperwork of get these contacts, do this. And I'm like, So I had a contract after I finished the internship because they liked me.
Yeah.
And then I didn't want to renew the contract because I was bored and I wanted to now go look for my career in radio and look for it in the best way I could. Now, Mike Rabah comes back from the UK and wants to set up Homeboys now officially as an office.
Oh, wow.
I know Mike Rabah from childhood. He was very good friends with my cousin. They were in patch together. They used to sneak to come and eat at our place, Kianda. They used to sneak school to come and kula. Yeah. So I know him from then. And then while I was in USIU, because entertainment was part of my life, I was in the Student Affairs Council as the chair of welfare. So all the gigs, nini, nizangu. So nilikuwa na invite akina nani? Akina DJ Pete, ndio wanakuja. Kama Homeboys kucheza. Yes. DJ Pete, brother ke DJ Kama. DJ John was just finishing campus and now joining them, but Kama and Pete were the ones who were holding it down while Mike was away in the UK and John was in campus.
Yeah.
Right? So alikuwa LD.
LD Moi.
Alikuwa Moi.
Some agriculture.
Exactly. Landscaping. Landscaping. Ni landscaping. Nafanya landscaping. So I now get a call from Mike. He's found my number at the embassy. He's called me saying, no, I need to open this office. You're the one to come. Because with the reports I've gotten is that all gigs that these guys got through you were very successful.
Oh, wow.
And you were in campus. Now, where are you? So I said, no, see, now I'm, trying to take this degree but what's opportunity? And then they just got the gig at Capital FM to do what? Capital started maybe within that same year after I graduated 2000. Metro started. I went for auditions, failed because of Kiswahili. Then Capital started.
Yeah. 98? No, 96?
No. This is not 96. This is 2000. The year 2000.
When did Capital start?
2000, end of 2000 into 2001, around that time. So now 2000 by the time 2001 is coming is when now Mike is begging me to come and run their office and manage. And so, I left the embassy and said that is where I'm going because if they've gotten a gig, they're the first DJs to play a radio show on Capital. They were the first in Kenya.
Yeah.
This was my idea. I'll go and work with them. One day they'll tell me to go and deliver a CD at Capital because, the CD is here, it's hot, it's ready, the show is here.
Yeah.
When I go to deliver, I will speak so well that they will say, hey, you have a great voice. And then I will get a radio job. My friend, I had a plan.
Yeah.
So I told my parents, I'm out. I've left the Turkish embassy. There was chaos in our home for a while. You are leaving an embassy job.
I love it. Those are
because if
you've
entered as an intern, they liked you, they give you a contract. This means you can, grow into this thing. And you want to go and work for DJs who call themselves home boys. Even they couldn't be creative. Home boys. That's what you have decided.
They couldn't be creative.
Yeah. There are vijanas who just chill at home. So they're lazy. My mom. That was my mom. She literally just broke it down that they are lazy.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. But I knew that if I work with them, I will learn something, meet somebody. You see now that thought process.
Yeah.
I've left the Turkish embassy who have potential of paying me in dollars.
Yeah.
To take 8,000 shillings.
Wow.
8K at Homeboys. Why?
What?
Because I have a dream. But if I didn't do that, I would have... You guys would never have known Kalekye Mumo because her journey to get to radio...
started from there.
Like, I was like, done the degree that I didn't want to do, I am going for what I want now.
Wow.
And it's going to make me have to sacrifice. I will sacrifice. And from there, the journey went on. Then I met... Actually, at Homeboys, I met... Caroline Bindio Smith and Lee Smith, who run Rough Cuts Productions.
Yeah.
They came to use the office space to conduct interviews, to hire people. Somebody to take over from Tim Rumbui was their producer.
Yes.
At the time.
Yeah.
And he was leaving.
Oh, man.
Before Tim Rimbui was Tim Rimbui.
Yeah.
Now, he
Tim
was
was
leaving.
one of my first friends as a Christian.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now that is 2001. And so he's leaving.
Wow.
He's leaving and they need to replace him.
Yeah.
And so they are conducting interviews from our office space, a small little office. And so meaning that as we are sitting here and they are doing their interviews just across us with, let's say where the camera is. I can hear everything, right?
Yeah.
And so they finish their interviews every day. We have a banter. How is it? What do you think? What did you hear? I'm just conversing because I'm running the space and I've been told to accord you the space to do your interviews. At the end of it, they speak to Mike and say, hey, do you mind if we interview your person? What
your office manager?
Yeah, because hey, she seems to be nice. And we had just had a fight with Mike because I was like, you guys, I want to learn technical.
Yeah.
If I can't be on the microphone now, let the time that, because now I've been using his fax machine. I've been using his facsimile machine. Google is your friend, Gen Z. Google facsimile. I've been using his fax machine to send my CVs to Capital every day.
Wow.
Okay? And finding money to buy a TDK tape to record a demo at Kasangas. I'm being paid 8K. I'm using half my money.
That tape is 5.
It was an empty at that time was 8 sock.
I see 90.
Yes, was 800 shillings. I'm being paid 8K.
What?
And then I have to go to Kasangas and pay for studio time to record a VO.
Oh man, yeah.
Because there's nowhere else to go. We don't have phones that record. We don't have that technology wasn't there.
Wasn't there, no.
And so by the time I do all of that, pesa imeisha ya mwezi imeisha.
Alafu nenda kuuliza madhako for fares.
And you just 2-3. Thank God I was still living at home and I grew up on 2-3. So I'd just be like, Simuni, Peka, Nini, free ride, Leo. Negotiate your way.
I love the Kanges know you.
They know me so it would be easy. But then I said I'll take a karaoke job.
Yeah.
Once a week, which will pay me 2,000 bob to compensate what these things I'm doing. So I take a karaoke job. I do the karaoke job. Yeah. So here we are. I've had a fight with Mike because I'm telling them, teach me technical. Let me learn what you guys are doing. Let me even understand how you do. I may not want to be the DJ, but let me understand how the sound works. Let me understand, because you still hype on the mic. Wakaniambia we ni dem.
Hakuna vile.
Hii kazi ni ngumu ni ya wanaume. We ni dem.
Hauendi kubeba speaker.
Huwezi kubeba speaker because anybody who comes to start, you start from. I'm like, why not? Why have you decided I can't carry?
Alafu we ni Barbie.
So unaona hizo judgment really come. So we've already had this fight of I want technical. He's saying he can't. So when they asked him, he said actually she wanted to learn technical, but I just don't think I have the capacity to teach her amid my many boys here. And that is how I left for an extra 2,000. I took an extra job, nikapata 10K. Lakini nachukua ma 3 mbili mpaka nifike wapi? Nifike Karen. Bro, do imeisha. But it was a good journey. Yeah. Taking that job meant I get to learn the technical, because what the Mzungu guy told me is this. He said, I love the way you run the office. So we want someone to run the studio, the bookings, the what, but I will teach you what I can't pay you in cash.
Wow.
And he trained me to be a sound editor. He taught me how to use my good voice to deliver better. Kidogo Kidogo. I was making extra cash doing commercials.
VOs now.
And I got the confidence to know that, I can use my voice to do this and do it well. Because I was not sure. I just wanted it, but I, didn't know how.
Yeah.
And in that journey and that risk, again, which is another fight, my parents said, you take us where that place is. And they were working from like a home. They've converted into half. Upstairs they live, downstairs office. My parents came. They said they want to see this place.
They want to see this.
What is this you're doing now? You've left the little homeboy's office with DJ gigs. I used to go for the gigs as well. So already we are kwasanang unakuja sangapi nini. Then now I've come to this production house. Now production houses, you know how it is. If you get an edit job that's going to take long, you will stay. And because they had accommodation, naweza kuja kesho. Do I have somewhere to sleep? It was war. I'll just say, Mose, it was war. By the time I got onto radio, and my parents started hearing people referring to, have you listened to this girl? She's called Kalekye Mumo. And then my mom is going, yeah, she's my daughter. She's my daughter. She's my daughter. That's when it started hitting her that, this thing makes sense. And then now she started introducing me. Have you met my daughter, Kalekye Mumo? And she started introducing me by both names. And I'm like, you're Mrs. Mumo. You can't introduce me by both names. We are just say Kalekye. So it took some time to get there. So I took 5 years before I set foot in any radio station to try and do a radio show. 5.
Which was your first radio station?
Capital FM. I won the Radio Idol competition, the first Radio Idol they had on the afternoon show on the Jam. And the opportunity was to get trained. I won like my first 14-inch TV. I won a better Samsung phone. And, I was doing well. But it wasn't a guarantee of a job, but I did it anyway. And from there on, they then called me back after a month and said, look, we need someone to do the breakfast show because we are having issues and we need to remove one presenter. So Ses and Ngatia were fighting. So Ses was told to take a step back. I come and do the show with Ngatia. But then they wanted me to anchor it. And I'm going back to, I found Ngatia here. And I know Ngatia from USAU and USAU together. So we start doing the show. And
you went straight to breakfast?
Straight to breakfast.
That is good. What?
Straight. But if I did not have those patients for 5 years and ended up doing sound engineering that I now fell in love with, I moved to Mediva. We were producing Tazama and the Fast Agenda Kenya. Now I was, like I'd even said, hii kitu inaitwa radio.
Si lazima.
Twende tu.
Alafu na you got a better paycheck.
All of a sudden, things have just gone different, And so if today we give the same opportunity to a young person, do they even know what it takes to want what they want? They want a lot of things. They'll tell me, nataka kuwa pilot, nataka kwamba you have to fly X amount of hours before you actually be called a pilot. It's anymore. You start negotiating. With who are you negotiating? It's your life.
And this is the process that you have to go through.
It is the process that
you cannot short-circuit this thing.
Yani, our fathers who are pilots went through it. Our fathers went through it. Our generation went through it. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So there are certain things that won't change. But as the people who are bringing up the next generation is to teach them why it is important to adapt themselves to these things. While we accept that they are different, they may do them differently, but there are certain things that will never change. They'll never change.
I like that. I've got to ask you, Kalekye, and I love what it is that you're talking about. In fact, you've reminded me so many things. It's like your journey for radio and my journey for radio is equals Sambamba. I cannot tell you the number of C90 tapes I took to Capital, taking them to Robert Warobi. And Robert would be like, man, Mose, we love the mixes, but it's just not yet. The opportunity has not come up.
And you know that's the thing. You know these people, you know it, and akweke tu hapo.
Yeah. Even to Kiss. I used to go, I can't remember the name of the guy who was setting up Kiss.
Who, you'd go to John Wilkins, who was in charge at the time?
Yes. I used to meet with him. That time they were setting up at Lion Place, exactly still where they are today. I'll be like, man, I love the music and I love the sound.
But we don't have a space for you now.
It's like, man, unfortunately, what I liked about him was very clear. He told me, as Kiss, the way we've set it up, we will never have a blog for gospel music. I love your spirit.
You brought another thing up.
He was very clear with me.
Like, it's not for that station.
It's not for that. He was like, and for me, Nikasema, thank you, and I never went back to it.
Because then you're not wasting your tapes anymore.
Exactly. Think about the number of tapes I took.
And the amount of money.
There were many.
Speaking of gospel and Kiss, I was almost fired because of playing gospel music there. I started the gospel music at Kiss.
What?
Because I liked the music. I'd gotten to meet DJ Sadiq and Top of the Top.
DJ Mo.
DJ Mo. I'd met them. We had done Pulpit Qua Streets for Giuliani. I was the MC. And Sadiq was a DJ. And so I'd heard them on Capitol for such a long time, but I didn't know who they were. And so I was like, wow, you know, the music, the mixes, the discipline. And they were working with discipline. And I was like, this is so awesome. So now I got to understand the music. We became friends. I got to start, you know, he'd send stuff. I hear it, Nini, and knowing very well, Uku, they don't believe that gospel is for kids.
Yeah.
I said, this song imebamba sana. I can't remember which one I said I'm going to play it. Hiyo day ningefutwa kazi juu ya kucheza gospel. Na nikasema, if God, the God I serve, no, I will not be fired. So by the time we were telling them, listen, gospel is the revolution. Yeah. Now this is when groove is just starting to come up. You must pay attention to it. Go do your research. You know, you don't come. I remember sneaking in DJ. Oh God. Anyway, I left. Sneaking in DJ Sadiq to play. On the rush hour.
Oh, Gioni.
On the rush hour. I sneaked him in. That time, I think my immediate boss was away. He had traveled.
He took advantage.
I sneaked the guy in with his decks. And we did a set. And it blew up.
Yeah.
So everybody was like, you know, feeling gospel at that time. It was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And so eventually they say, okay, fine. We're going to research this music. If you dare work, you're fired.
Yeah.
The research came back. Everybody wanted gospel because that's what they were listening to.
Wow.
And that's how gospel got onto Kiss 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a journey. And, you know, people don't appreciate, you know, like some of the sacrifices and the challenges that we've gone through. I mean, I feel bad when I think about where we are right now.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, God has allowed me to walk in this journey for such a long time. But I know we can't finish that. There's so much I want to ask you, by the way. There's so much. It's like every podcast always ends with me having a lot more to talk about. But I love where the conversations lead us.
Yeah.
You know, I love how you have been, you know, very vocal about your faith as well.
That's a journey. That was a journey that, I think, let me put it to you this way. I had a relationship with God as a young girl. I got born again by the time I was 13 and got baptized, everything. I was a Bapochik, Arabic Baptist. And then I had a fallout. And my fallout was parents-oriented.
Yeah.
Where I'm waking up to say, I want to go for youth service. Nipewe bus fare.
Yeah. Or the 8 o'clock service.
My mom is like, Nani, I don't know whether my mom went, I as an adult now, I translated that my mom probably had church hurt from that church because her response that day, and this is after a month of, you're trying every Sunday, it's like you're begging to go to church. And I'm like, how am I begging? To go to church? Like, what's happening? And they are in that phase of they're not going now. And so she goes into a whole blasting thing of, who told you your church is in Nairobi? Nairobi churches are not your church. Your family church is in AIC, Mwanyani, Machakos. This thing you're saying you're going, these people are going to poteza you.
Wow.
Me, I'm like, what?
And that time, Bapo is so solid.
Exactly. The youth was vibrant. Yeah. I mean, we had such great leadership. Everything was really, really going well.
Yeah. Taking Pastor Mulandi.
Exactly. And this is even before Mulandi had taken over. We were so strong. I mean, Kavudha and I were in the same class.
Wow.
You see? So we've come up knowing this is great. Now, this outburst, this reaction just threw me off. And so then after that, it became every Sunday morning, you know, you're the one waking up to make breakfast, prepare, ni. By the time it's time for church, shahata, the service you want to go for. Do you know, then I said, then what's the point? Why am I loving a God who's giving parents who are giving me a grief to go to church?
Wow.
I put God on hold. And I just stopped going. Didn't stop believing, but I was not growing spiritually. And you know what happens when you're not growing spiritually. Yes, you give God his reverence, but you're not connected. So you start being exposed to things of the world. And then
you're not growing in one way, you're growing in another way.
And so you'd pray now when you have a problem. You remember the prayers of our Father only because you don't even know how to pray for yourself and speak to God. You don't have a relationship.
So true.
And that happened to me I was still being a good girl. I still knew not to break certain commandments and laws and whatever. I was still very much taking care of my life, but I was not growing spiritually because I didn't have anybody to walk with.
Yeah.
So I lived life, and I lived life, kakunywa, nikajibamba, everything. When I turned 40, I had this big party, all white, biggest white party in Kenya I'd seen at the time. Great stuff. And then I turned 41. I've done this party. It was a lot of planning. And when I was turning 41, my friends are like, you can't have done a bash last year like that. And then you're telling us you're sleeping on your birthday this year because it's 41. No. We're going out for dinner. We're doing this. And then we end up going to some club. I've never talked to a guy in a club like that. Unless Mozu uniambie, uni beste yangu alafu unaweza kukuliza, beste yako? If I don't have references,
kuna vile tunaongea.
It's very hard for me.
Wow.
So I'd never done that. And so this guy, we're in the club celebrating my birthday, starts talking to me, and then I say, see, I'm single anyway right now.
Yeah.
What's the worst? I talk to the guy, I give my number. I decide this is this. And we start to get to know each other. At one point, he ghosts me. He ghosts me soon after he's told me his mom is sick and she needs to go to India. I help him, we raise funds. Then out.
He disappears.
So I'm like, what nonsense is this? I mind my business. 2 months later, I see the phone ringing. It's the same guy. I'm like, let me hear what nonsense you have to say. I pick the phone. Because I'm ready for nonsense. And he tells me, I just wanted to call you and tell you my mom died. Thank you so much for helping me raise the funds. I'm like, what? And yeah, she passed away in India. So I felt compassion. And I said, surely, let me at least come and visit.
Yeah.
Do the due diligence. I had just lost my cousin, Janet Kanini. And so this was like 2 months later. So I was feeling so bad. And that grief was still within me. So I knew that if somebody is grieving, it doesn't matter what happened between us, you ghosted me or whatever, I'll come for to be there for you because I know that that's painful.
Yeah.
So I went. Next thing I knew was I was planning the entire funeral. Didn't you watch that story on my Conversations Culture Live? I planned the entire funeral because he had no clue what to do.
Wow.
His dad had passed 2 years ago. His mom has passed. His sisters are in the States, but without papers, so they can't come. So he's alone. His friends are guys of kukaa chini ya tent na whiskey.
Yeah.
Si tumekamkombeleza. Hakuna mtu anakuambia tuanze kupanga funeral. We need to do ABCD. We need to do awana.
Wow.
And funny enough, any guy I date, despite having fallen away from God that far, I would ask him if he has a relationship with God, does he at least go to church? That was very important to me. I don't know why, but it was always important. Like, do you go to church? Where do you go? And he said he goes to Paki. I said, okay, fine. So, umefiliwa, your mother's people are in Nakuru, but you're a senior manager somewhere. So people are going to start coming.
Yeah.
You can't have meetings and there's nobody even to pray. So he tells me, yes, I go to Paki, but once when I don't have a hangover, so they don't know me.
They don't know me.
So do you know what? Kalekye starts making calls to find out how can I get those passes to come because I don't go to Paki. I'm a chick of Bapo. So I call Njesh. Njesh tells me...
Njesh, Kabs' wife.
Tells me, no, I don't know from Paki, but I know a young pastor who is very open with people who may not know Christ, but he's, adaptable to the younger person. She tells me, call Pastor George. And she calls Pastor George and tells him. In fact, before I call Pastor George, he calls me. And he's under K3C at that time, International Covenant Community Church. He tells me, now, can we meet there? I tell him, even very good, because those are the people I was working with as we were burying my cousin Jana Kanin, because that was her church.
Yeah.
So I know the pastor's there. You are the only one I never got to meet. He said, during that funeral, I was not around. So I go. And that is how I met Pastor George. And then start walking. He comes, we bury this guy's mom. And as soon as I finish burying the mother, he ghosts me again.
Wow.
And I mean, helped to the point where the aunties are like, no, you've done so much. You're coming for this funeral. They bought me a ticket to Kisumu. Tukaenda Kisumu City, Bondo.
Yeah.
Hardship nini tukazika. came back, I got dropped off, and that was the last I heard from the guy. In fact, I thought he was going to die of depression. I even went to his door to knock, like, are you okay? You're not picking calls, you know? And that was that. We've never spoken again. And that was so heavy for me. Now, Pastor George helped us in Nairobi. He even thought that is my fiancé. We're dating, we're serious. So he's calling me all the time to check on me because that is who Pastor George is.
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
How are you? How's he? And I'm just lying. I lied for about a few weeks. Then I realized I cannot lie anymore. I must tell him that I've been ghosted and I'm hurting. And we started walking together. We would meet, like, during the day we go to Jaffrey's and just literally walk and talk. Just walk and talk. Nothing else. Walk and talk. Eventually, I said, I live near, that time I was living on Dennis Street and it's near K3C. I want to come to church. He said, oh, you want to come? Because he said he would never force me to tell me come back to church. He would never. I went to church. I started walking. I liked it. He introduced me to other people there, got to know the church. And the day I gave my life to Christ, he was even in the youth service. He wasn't even there. We were with Pastor David Obuki. October 1st of, that was now 2017.
Wow.
I gave my life to Christ. And I started my journey again.
That's awesome.
I have not looked back.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I have loved, watching you online and, even till today, I guess you go to City Lighters.
Yes. So now I eventually moved with Pastor George.
Yeah.
After finished serving at K3C, I served at K3C in the worship team and the creative team for about 2 years. Then City Lighters had begun.
Yeah.
I didn't go immediately with Pastor George. She was like, Allah. I said, but God has told me I have work to finish first.
Yeah.
Then now joined. That's why I now serve at City Lighters. I'm a cell group host and I also lead the Bible Readers Ministry.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk to you about, I was very intentional today. I know Kate would have wanted me to talk about radio. But I was very intentional today not to dive into that space because I feel about radio we can always have
any other
conversations. But these are conversations that probably
nobody was going to have.
Nobody's going to have these conversations with you.
About my real life.
Which I've really appreciated.
Yeah.
And man, I'm so grateful for the time that we've been able to spend together.
Yeah, thank
this
you
so much. This has been so good. It's so refreshing.
It's been fantastic. I mean, in terms of even just knowing, you grew up in my hood. In
fact, now after I moved from Kangemi, I went to Feather. Then from Feather, I came to Aroko.
Ukarudi to home.
Yeah. So this is so good. And Kalekye, thank you so much for allowing me to have the conversations with you.
Thank you for having me.
And my prayer is that you'd continue shining and
Amen.
That you continue representing.
Amen.
And you're such an influential person.
Thank you.
One of the most influential radio presenters, media personalities that we have in the country. And for me, it's been a great joy to just sit and have this banter, and hopefully our Gen Z here will be able to appreciate. She's our producer. Her name is Kate. In fact, Kate, people are hearing us talking about you. Please come so just they can see your face, Tafadhali.
Yay!
Let them come and see your face. So they don't think we are making up.
There's a young chick. She's a Gen Z, and she's in this space.
Yeah,
it's important sometimes to know the people who are behind the scenes.
Absolutely,
the guy is doing the hard work.
And I'm really glad that she's the producer of the podcast. I try not to change most of the things that she comes up with. So this is Kate.
Hi, guys.
This is her right here. So Kate, we celebrate you. And
thank you.
Yeah, you're doing an amazing job.
This episode has been amazing. So here is a little token of appreciation.
You guys have a gift back.
Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you very
early
much.
birthday.
Early birthday. Yay.
I keep saying that legends were born in March.
I don't know why they don't know this.
Yeah.
They need to tell somebody.
Yeah.
In fact, do the mathematics. If you're about to have a baby, mathematics for you is that you make sure the baby is born in March.
Yeah. I hope you like it. That's my March.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. This is so cool. I like it. I like it very much. Thank you.
Karibu.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana.
I have a new white tea. You can never go wrong with a white tea which has color. Alafu unajua mimi ni Mkamba. Sasa hapa tumelepula change. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
This has been such good conversations, Kalekye.
Thank you. It's been fantastic. It's been nice catching up. It's been nice having a different style of conversation. I like the flow. Yeah. So thank you. And I've been seeing a lot of your work. So God bless you as you continue the journey, having these conversations, because therefore life transforming, conversations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I do hope the guys learn. Every time I sit down with a guest, I'm always learning things. always learning things.
I can't wait to have you on my podcast.
Please.
Conversations with Kalekye.
Please do. Invite me to Fadali. I'll be more than glad to come.
I'm looking forward to hosting you.
Kate, let's make it happen. I'll be more than glad to to come over, Kalekye.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and for guys, as we wind up, I want to remind you about, I have a gig that's coming up March 31st. Allow me to plug it in. It's called DJ Mo's Life on Life. That's the third service. It's for... I don't know how else to explain it, but the third service.
Okay, let me do that for you because I know what third service means. It's for that person who couldn't wake up to make it to first or second service. Acha tu nikwambie tu kweli usingizi ilikuwa imekushika. Ulikuwa job, ukafanya DJing mpaka sijui saa ngapi. O ulienda tu ukajibamba. Lakini pia unapenda kusikia God anakuambia nini. Jui life without God always make. Third service with DJ Mo's.
To the T.
That's it.
March 31st, Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday.
Come on.
God bless,
Come on. Thank you so much, man.
Let me say, this place, this is Grind and Groove. I want to say thank you so much to Susan, her wonderful team, who always allow us to come and host the podcast from here, guys. So, tafadhali, it's in Karen, just opposite the DP's residence. Mahali Gashago enda kurelax. Hapo tu, badhi unaweza sema mazume kula next na keja yake.
Utakuwa star.
Utakuwa tu sawa. God bless, guys.